Good evening, everyone. Let's take a moment of silence before we begin the session today to invoke Mother's presence, Sri Aurobindo's presence. So, Mother says that we are surrounded by the things that we think of, and if we think of the divine, if we think of Mother, Sri Aurobindo, or whoever we want to think of, then it means that we are surrounded by their presence also. So, whatever we want to be surrounded with, we can keep thinking about that. So today I don't have much clarity as to what we are going to do, but I thought maybe we can further reflect upon the theme that we were taking last time, which was the benefit of self-forgetfulness, and how, because of not being self-forgetful, because of being too much obsessed by our lives and stories and what I want from it and what is not happening, what I should get but I'm not getting. So basically, wanting all this happiness from the samsaric worldly life, uh, happiness for this little me, it keeps us again and again, kind of actually makes us miserable. We all have a taste of that misery, I'm sure. And the moment when the attention is not on our little self, but we are engrossed in any work that we feel a dedication towards, then that misery is not present, at least for those moments when we are engrossed. So it is now up to us that whenever old patterns of thoughts and feelings they arrive, because they will arrive, they have a momentum, they won't just go away easily. So when they arrive, I actually have to just keep ignoring them and giving importance to, like we were sharing, uh, chanting Mother's name, Sri Aurobindo's name, whatever I want to be surrounded with. We, as Mother says, we carry our atmosphere. So if we have done all the stupid things enough, then maybe we can be convinced of doing things which are beneficial to us. So maybe we can continue today a bit, maybe short session today, reflecting upon again through prayers only, that how Mother shares that it is so important to not give attention to this surface agitation. Because when we are lost and identified in the surface agitation, we don't find any resolution there. But then Mother also shares in many prayers the true remedy. And the true remedy, Mother shares, is to identify with the deepest part of our being. And there always we have a certain calm and peace. And if possible, wherever possible, we try to operate from there. If not possible, then if there is agitation, then we can offer it. You see it coming in again and again, and you show it to the Mother. You continue to offer it and find deep solace within our being, in the deepest, most recesses. So, anything here? Yes, Charu, do you want to share?
Yeah, what is this agitation, Monica? It can be emotional or, related to any circumstances, anything?
I think wherever we see this life energy, up, actually a kind of a restlessness. Do you sense that there is a restlessness, as if you want to, many a times we have that restlessness. Maybe we want to meet somebody,
Mm.
or maybe when we talk to a friend, then because of that vital engagement, that restlessness for a time disappears. So our ego feels boosted and we feel now sorted a little, because you would have seen, we do several kind of activities to
Yeah.
take care of that restlessness. So
Yeah.
basically, I feel that this restlessness is this prana in us, this energy in us, which again
Mm.
is can go into the mental, can go into the feeling level, also vital
Mm.
prana, mental prana. So it is just actually, Sri Aurobindo uses the term psychic prana, and he says that there is, what I get out of it is that there is this stickiness, like this
Mm.
restlessness that we are talking of. It can go into the mind. It
Mm.
actually goes into the mind, like, it's like a pipeline, several pipes going into the mind, into the thoughts, and it also goes into all our feelings and emotions and makes
Okay.
them restless. And then it is also present, this psychic prana is also present in the body sense perceptions. So as if this drop of, one can say, poison, it's not actually poison, it has to be channeled correctly. So because of not channelization of its, direction is not proper, it has gone in the thoughts, it has gone into the feelings, it has gone into the body sense perceptions, and it is there, acting as a little kind of a stickiness or a restlessness.
Mm.
I
Mm.
feel that this is what we do when we are doing the tapasya, or like in gathering of our threads of consciousness, say on Mother or Sri Aurobindo. It's like a
Mm.
tapasya, you are in gathering. So that
Mm.
restless energy is wanting to go out, maybe meet a friend, interact with somebody whom you feel comfortable with, so that you are not feeling restless anymore. Or maybe you want to assert your opinions with somebody, like an intellectual discussion, which makes us very good, feel very good about it. And in the body, we can take care of it by doing physical exercises. Because when we do physical running or exercises or something, then it kind of soothes down a little, it is channelized. So, this can be anywhere in the thoughts and the feelings, wherever this restlessness. The basic idea I feel is that the restlessness wants to fulfill itself through outer means.
Okay.
Hmm?
Okay.
That as if it will get its consummation and contentment in the worldly affairs. But it is
Okay.
not getting, it is not getting.
Okay. Okay.
And that is where we see Buddhism also saying that samsara is a series of pleasure and pain and pleasure and pain. If there is pleasure, there would be pain. So don't think that this pleasure will always continue and pain will never come. Where there is pleasure, there will be pain. So right now, I may be very happy with the relationship. Very soon, that happiness will disappear because that relationship will change and I'll have disappointment. And then I can remind myself, oh, this is samsara. This is what they have said. So to find gratification of that restlessness within our being,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
where Mother says that everything that you want can be fulfilled only in the divine and nowhere else.
Yeah.
Hmm? So, finding the contentment within our being or in the divine, but giving ourselves or offering ourselves in the world, expecting actually nothing out of it, because there doesn't lie the true happiness or true satisfaction. Even if we are doing a great job, like people think it's great to work in spiritual atmospheres or whatever, we see that there are problems in harmony, because people are clashing with each other's egos. Your way of working is not suiting my way of working. So knowing that that will be the case, because we are not living in a supramental realized state, and true harmony cannot be there right now, I can't expect it, but I can have a relative harmony within my being, where I know that this is expected, this disharmony is expected. Now what is the best I can do, knowing that relative harmony can be kind of stabilized or
Yeah. Beautiful example now. I got it. Yeah. See, often we want to talk in between. I used to observe myself. If anybody talks, I will not be able to listen properly. I will, barge in and I will definitely make my opinion. At least try to make my opinion there. So
Hmm.
this I've been noticing in myself, and every day whenever that thought comes, whenever I want to speak, in between, I'm stepping back. It's okay. Please listen what they are saying. You don't
Beautiful,
need to speak every time.
beautiful, beautiful.
But it is maybe lifetime challenge for me. I don't know. I feel that I'm, slowly improving, but still I can relate this, just now you were mentioning that, wanting to say something, wanting to do something, that urge is there. So I can offer that. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah, it really helps.
There we see that there is a particular use of this, a kind of a restlessness or agitation, and everything, including ambition of a certain sort or desire of certain kind, at one point of life, a time in our life, they are important because they shake us up. Because uh, otherwise I can become too dull and inert, like,
Yeah.
oh, what is the need to talk at all, why the need to take a stand at all. But we will see that the spiritual masters have not been really like that. They have taken a stand. People who we find as inspirational, like, freedom fighters, they have taken a stand. But वही है कि it's context to context. So if I have led a life where there is too much of this restlessness and agitation, I have gone through that phase, and wherever I see, as you beautifully shared, that I can step back here, it's okay if I don't make a point, you know so there I think it's my challenge, because many a times when I'm trying to make a point, it is my sense of self which is associated with making that point, so that I can be proven right.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
So if I can step back for a long time, and then at times also state my point, but not with an attitude that, oh, I want to be right, but knowing that it is a valid point and let me put it forward. No sense of
Yeah.
self attached to it. So I think this back and forth we should continue. It's not like this is a formula that, okay,
Yeah.
I don't have to say anything, because if we don't say anything, we see that what all is possible and things have happened. Like, people have made beautiful organizations or structures, they have made those because they have taken a stand.
Yes.
Right, so हर चीज की अपनी जगह है, मुझे लगता है, और intuitively we will get to know that now I know that I am not trying to prove that I am right, but
Ah,
because this point needs to be put forward for the sake of truth, so I am
yeah.
putting it forward, and then let's.
Beautiful. Yeah. That's really, really nice. Thank you so much, Monica.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah. It's really nice. Yeah. So each time, if you are able to look into ourselves, it will be a beautiful journey. In a
Yeah,
day, how many things we do like this,
that's true.
to make my point, to make what I'm saying is right. Yeah.
Yeah. So Rupert Spira says here that, for example, somebody asks about relationships or maybe interacting with people and getting addicted in relationships. So he says in one of the talks that, like, if you are feeling like making a call to a person
Mm.
and you think that you are addicted in that relationship to that particular person, that, चैन ही तब मिलेगा जब बात कर लेंगे, like that, then in that moment don't make that call. You make that call when that restless urge is not there. So just like you were sharing, proving a point or placing a point forward.
Yeah.
So if I am feeling a restless urge, then it's better that you stop. Maybe,
Beautiful.
maybe. And then when you know that it's a valid point, and if it's okay if I don't put it, but I can also put it forward. So in that moment you can put it forward. So something like that. Yeah.
At least we can have a checkpoint there.
Checkpoint, exactly.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Anybody else? Anything here? Haven't it? Okay. So I'm taking December 21, 1916, which last time I think we did not take. December. One of the later prayers, 21 years. So yeah, I think often we are very confused. At least I am. We are very confused often that this thing that we call as love, because whenever we talk about love, it's highly misused, the term. At times we can also become very annoyed with the term itself, because maybe we have misused it too much. So mother talks about a kind of an impersonality in love, in the sense that usually our love is directed towards a person or a certain situation, or my child, or whatever, my sibling or people around me. So mother talks about that love is a kind of an impersonality, where it is not directed towards a particular object, because whenever we direct it towards a particular object, we see that we grasp, we begin to spoil that relationship actually. So here I think that is why I've written this. I'm forgetting now why I've written this, but this must be the reason, because here mother says that, yeah, this impersonally, she talks about this impersonality of love. So let us see, if I think maybe we should go through the whole prayer and then pick up whatever is resonating. Yeah, so would anyone want to read?
Yeah, I'll read.
Yeah.
December 21, 1916. Lord, thou didst speak to me through the lips of one of those who have known thee best, most probably to make me understand thy lesson better. Was I then deaf to thy direct suggestion? And still, I do not understand at the moment what to do. Thou knowest what happiness would be mine if by thy grace I could be integrally transformed into a hearth of divine love. That love which is the first and highest manifestation of thy eternal truth. That love which is at once the completest expression in this world of thy truth and the most direct road to lead to it, the human consciousness that has gone astray. In the days when I used to aspire, desire, and ask, how many times have I asked of thee the grace of this state as the one not in conformity with my present ideal of action? And at that time, it seemed to me that the day I should be purified of all egoistic preference, thou wouldst choose this individual terrestrial being as an instrument of thy manifestation of love upon earth. And now that thou asks it of me more than ever, before do I feel my helplessness. Thou askest it of me, and now that thou askest it of me more than ever, before do I feel my helplessness. For such a long time, I thought I knew what love was, and now that I no longer see anything that cannot be called love, I also no longer see anything that may specially be called love. And how can I be that which I can no longer define, the state which I can no longer distinguish? And yet, thou didst show me yesterday that I was holding, enclosed in a dark sheath, of one of thy most precious and powerful gifts. Lord, all my being aspires to obey thy voice, to conform to thy law, but it does not know in its outer consciousness does not understand what thou expectest of it. It feels indeed that at present its love is a passive state, and that thou wouldst awaken it to an active state. But how to pass from one to the other is what escapes it. It knows that this active state of love should be constant and impersonal, that is, absolutely independent of circumstances and persons, since it cannot and must not be concentrated upon any one thing in particular, and in this it will resemble the present passive state of love, which is pure, unchanging, and impersonal. But what it still does not know is how, even while retaining its purity, unchangeability, and impersonality, qualities now inherent in its being, it can resume its activity. This is why this evening I implored Lord Mitra, who so perfectly symbolizes thy truth of love, asking him to come to help and enlighten my ignorance, dissolve my doubts, vanquish my hesitations, break down the last obstacles, and take possession of this physical instrument so that it may become what thou expectest it to be. But my speech is timid and my voice faltering, and I do not know if Lord Mitra heard my prayer.
Thank you. So again, I think we have to remind that this is the Divine Mother herself, and why she has plunged herself into this kind of a human ignorance and darknesses, that so that she can show us the way. Because this, especially the last line, just look at it and see how much we can resonate with it. That our speech is timid, we don't know whether we are asking for the right thing, and my voice faltering, and I do not know if Lord Mitra heard my prayer. So we don't know whether our prayers are heard or not. We have that doubt at times. So it's very interesting to see this humility, and this groundedness in most of the prayers, many prayers. So I think really we don't know, at least I can't really say much on this love thing, but we can see a little bit of points here and there and see how practically we can kind of implement in our life, because we do claim that we love people, but in the name of love we actually do a lot of disaster, and we try to bind people to us, and we try to cut their wings at times and want them to belong only to us, and we call all of that love. But that is where human love starts from, because it is full of these insecurities, jealousies, because we feel that we are lacking and we can find fulfillment in some other person. So, trying to grasp at that person, and also what Bollywood and Hollywood movies mostly they show us is also this kind of a love, which is like not, it can't be really called as love. It is kind of a grasping and trying to consume the other person, so that uh, lust, basically, I think lust is most often portrayed as love, this physical attraction towards each other. But mother, I think it's really beautiful to see the divine humility here, that mother says that for such a long time I thought I knew what love was, and now that I no longer see anything that cannot be called as love, everything appears to the mother like, okay, this is love, manifestation of love only. All these creatures or the kind of things people are doing around, I can call all of that manifestations of love. But then she adds further, she says, I also no longer see anything that may specially be called love. तो ये जहाँ पे हम स्पेशल वाला कीड़ा डाल देते हैं, कि ये मेरा प्यार है, ये मेरा स्पेशल लव है, तो मदर सेज, और उस कीड़े के आड़ में, उस कीड़े की काइंड ऑफ कर्टन में हम बहुत अत्याचार करते हैं. वी ट्राई टू डोमिनेट द अदर पर्सन, वी ट्राई टू कंट्रोल, fix the other person in our own way, and really kind of limit, suffocate the other person. So she says that I also do not see anything that may be specially called love. हाँ, सब कुछ लव है, बट ये मुझे नहीं पता कि क्या है. लगता है ये सारा, बट ऐसा नहीं है कि हाँ ये प्यार है और वो नहीं है. So I can't see anything that may be specially called love. So it's very interesting. And then mother says that how can I be an instrument of what I can't even define? So you are asking me, I have this aspiration that I be this instrument of love, but I don't know what love is. So that's the humility, because how can I be that which I can no longer define? That state which I can no longer distinguish, कि अच्छा ये love है और ये नहीं है love. How can I be that instrument when I can't define it? And yet thou didst show me yesterday that I was holding enclosed in a dark sheath one of thy most precious and powerful gifts. So I don't know what, of course, this refers to, but at times we get glimpse of our closed heart. That we have it in us, but our hearts are closed. Like we have locked it, and with all of us, because we are all alike. We are all human beings. We all have this drop of mother's presence with us all the time, and which may be called, psychic being or pure love or manifestation of a true being, whatever name we can call it. But we keep it shelled. There is a shell around it. So as if mother saw that it was shown to the mother that it's there with her, but it is enclosed in a dark sheath. Now, what is that dark sheath? I think some of us may know and maybe can resonate with. A dark sheath I was holding enclosed in a dark sheath one of thy most precious and powerful gifts. Lord, all my being aspires to obey thy voice, to conform to thy law, but it does not know in its outer consciousness, does not understand what thou expectest of it. So inwardly one may have a kind of a glimpse of a kind of, very intimate presence you feel, and that here it is. But in outward expression, one is not sure. Because as we see that we are really wronged by the images of Bollywood and Hollywood and social media, and you will see it everywhere we see that in the name of love, what we see is holding hands, hugging each other, and maybe kissing each other, not separating from each other even for a moment. So these are all things which are wrongly labeled as expressions of love. And we also want that when we have a relationship, we also want that. Why? Because we have seen that only all around, nothing else that we have seen. So then something in us which has gotten conditioned, seeing everything like this, and people call it love, then I say that why am I missing this in my life? Let me also have it, because look, they look so happy. So mother is saying that I don't know what is the outer expression you want me. The outer being does not have a clear idea. So here she says, but it does not know in its outer consciousness, where we kind of are expressive the most. outer consciousness does not understand what thou expectest of it. अब मतलब करूं क्या इसका? अब है ये पता लग गया, अंदर ही है, पास ही है, but करूं क्या? What do I do with it? Kind of that kind of a feeling. Again, I'm just sharing my reflections. It feels indeed that at present its love is a passive state, and that thou wouldst awaken to it to an active state, but how to pass from one to another is what escapes me. So I have no idea how this pure form of love will be manifested in my outer actions. So what I am doing right now to be safe is it's in a passive state, like as if it's dormant, but we know that it is there. So when the right time arrives, of its expression and manifestation, it will be done, but right now I don't have a clue how to pass from this passive state to an active state. So it feels indeed that at present its love is a passive state, and that thou wouldst awaken it to an active state, but how to pass from one to another other is what escapes it. It knows that this active state of love should be, so this knowing is also there. Look at how beautiful that this knowing is there, that it has to be like this. Because when purity is there, we have these intuitive knowings that yes, it should be. It knows that this active state of love should be constant and impersonal. Again, we go back to the same theme, impersonality. Because wherever we keep it very object oriented and personal, make it personal, there we try to grasp and cling, and all the stickiness comes and spoils all the stuff. So it knows that this active state of love should be constant. It's not that right now I am feeling very lovey, but now I am not in a mood of love, not like that. That is something else that we label as love. Constant and impersonal. Impersonal means that it does not have to do anything with someone who is loving and someone who is being loved. So neither a subject nor an object. Constant and impersonal. That is absolutely independent of circumstances, and because the things are not happening in my way, I will not be love, expressing this love. So she says that this much I know, that it can't be like that. It is independent of circumstances and persons, since it cannot and must not be concentrated upon any one thing in particular. Mother uses must not. This is very interesting, because whenever we put this must, I must here be lovey or express love, then we segregate. What we do is that, oh, these are my loved ones, and these are the ones I can ignore. And this is what is happening, that we don't put the kachra in our house, we put all the garbage outside of our house, but that outside actually is not existent, and we are all interconnected. So now that kachra is coming back to us because it is all interconnected, there are no borders. So that microplastics that I am throwing out and becoming little plastics, microplastics is coming back in my water, in my food, because there was never anything which was other. So there is this vast interconnectedness. So mother says that it must not be concentrated, because by that we spoil things, we segregate, we divide. And when we divide, actually what we can see is then we become very violent, also aggressive, that how dare you say that to my loved one, because you are not my loved one, that person is my loved one, how dare you. So we become blind. There is this curtain of blindness that comes. Moho, this is what we call as moho, attachment. So attachment brings a curtain in front, and then we can't see clearly, we can't operate clearly. In other cases we can work with a relative detachment, but when attachment is there, then we will do things which are very kind of mean. They are I don't know what to say, they're mean. But basically we can go very cheap when we have people who we feel attached to. So we should not be defending our attachments, we have to try to rise above attachments, because it is attachment which is giving rise to aversion. In Buddhism there is attachment, aversion, and ignorance, three root poisons. So because I am ignorant of, I don't know who I truly am, I think this is who I am, this limited little self. And then there are the others. There are some who I am attached to. To them I will be loving. I can fend for them, care for them. And then there would be others who I'm not attached to. To them I can be aversive. I can hate them. I can kill them. I can murder them. I can think bad of them. Why? Because I'm not attached to them. So because of ignorance, because of not knowing who we truly are, attachment arises, which we call mostly as love. And because of that, aversion will also rise. So mother says that this love cannot be directed. This much I know, that this pure love cannot be directed, must not be concentrated upon any one thing in particular. So this makes us kind of share it with all, whatever we have. And in this, it will resemble the present passive state of love, which is pure, unchanging, and impersonal. So I can see that there is this presence which is there, which is unchanging, which is pure, and which is also impersonal. It is not directed towards any particular person in general. But what it still does not know is how, even while retaining its purity, unchangeability, and impersonality, qualities now inherent in its being, it can resume its activity. So, this is the challenge I think all of us also face at times. Again, not all the time, it's hard to, whenever we have a glimpse of that state in us, because then in the outer being, we don't know how to manifest it. At times there is confusion because people can misunderstand, because usually the gestures that we have are very limited gestures that we have, if we can call it physical gestures of love. But then love is more than physical gestures of love. Love is also, prayer. Love is also wishing well for all the people around us or whoever. So, and that is why in the dedication, when we dedicate the merit with all, we are not dedicating it only to the people I love, right? We are dedicating all my merit with all the sentient beings, because we don't want now this kind of categorization which actually keeps us stuck, and gives us a very गंदी फीलिंग, अच्छी फीलिंग नहीं आती वो वाली, जब मेरा और तेरा जो हो जाता है उसमें एक अच्छी फीलिंग नहीं आती. बट अगेन मदर इज वेरी केयरफुल हेयर, बिकॉज द आउटर एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ दिस लव, शी सेज आई डोंट नो हाउ दैट वुड हैपन, but she is certain of a character of it, that it has impersonality and it has a purity, and it must not concentrate on a particular thing or a person or a situation, because when I'm doing that, then I'm dividing कि ये मेरा है और बाकी सब मेरे नहीं है, इसको मैं प्रेफरेंस दूंगा, उसको नहीं दूंगा. And that is the whole game of duality. So we are still stuck there only. So I think maybe why I had written the name of this prayer was because of this impersonal character, because last time when we were discussing about self-forgetfulness, so here also there is this self-forgetfulness, that you are not wanting anything for your own self. That mother is not saying that may I find fulfillment in this expression of love. She is not saying that. She has the fulfillment within. That's what, in all the prayers we see. So the fulfillment is coming from the divine, and yet there is this being or presence of love, and mother senses it, and she says that now I don't know how this passive aspect of it will get transformed, because the moment it gets transformed, there is a high chance that it may lose its purity. When that outer manifestation of love is happening, it may actually lose its purity. High chance that again that attachment may come, or kind of a this person and not the other persons, like that can come. So she's very cautious also. I think there we can see a lot of humility, that one is treading the steps very softly, not in a hurry, because whenever we do things in a hurry, there is something that we are wanting from that expression. But here there is no such kind of a want from that expression. So there is also a passivity, kind of a receptivity. Yeah. Anything here? Anyone?
So, Monica, is there something that somewhere it says that, where the divine love and that fulfillment, that expression, is there a description of that in any of the?
I think Savitri में तो है ही है
हाँ,
ना? Savitri में तो we see it that in her, in mother,
right.
love found a total ground to manifest itself. So we can call mother the mother of love, or divine love. It would be nice to read Savitri, because at the moment I can't remember any such prayer where.
Yeah, because see, it's like see, when we pray, right, and we go in front of the our deity, or whoever is the person that that you're praying to, and obviously you tend to, as a normal this thing, you tend to close your eyes, right? And like mother says, there are moments of those times when you know that you are one with the divine, right? Of course, there are very few moments that happen that way, but can we take that as an expression of that? That is the um, like sometimes when you're just standing in front of Aurobindo's picture or mother's picture, and you close your eyes and you suddenly have, for no reason I get tears. And is that something that could be one way of expressing, or is it something else that comes up?
Actually, we don't know, because here mother is sharing that I don't know how to define it.
Yeah,
Now, what we are trying to do is to define it, because
right,
she's sharing that I can't see anything that is not love, but I can't see anything that can be specially called as love also.
right.
And she is now pleading or aspiring that how can I be an instrument of something which I don't know how to define? Very interesting state, no? So I think it would be one of the ways I see is it would be nice to keep the logical defining mind at bay. Why to define?
Right.
That this was love and not that one. क्योंकि उसमें हमारा कुछ होने नहीं वाला है, उस डेफिनेशन में हमको कुछ मिलने नहीं वाला है बेसिकली. Because what do definitions do? So this state that mother is sharing is a very profound state. What do definitions do? Definitions by itself define. You are making a limit.
Right.
You are making it finite. Mother is saying that I can see for myself that this thing that we call as love, we don't know what it is, but definitely it is not defined. It can't be defined. Because the moment you define it, you limit it. और एक्चुअली में जो अभी तक हमने सुना है, और एटलीस्ट थ्योरेटिकली कॉन्सेप्चुअली जो हम समझ सकते हैं, वो ये समझ सकते हैं कि द होल मैनिफेस्टेशन इज एन एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ डिवाइन लव. तो कहाँ पे कह सकते हैं कि यहाँ डिवाइन लव है और वहां नहीं है? कैसे डिफाइन करें इस लव को? So it's actually a very profound state which we can of course talk about, but one has to only experience it for oneself, that it can't be defined. So even if these experiences like of psychic tears or whatever, of course they are glimpses of that only, but what is the need to define? है ना? कहीं ना कहीं ये भी हो जाता है कि डेफिनेशन से हमको थोड़ा एनकरेजमेंट मिलता है कि चलो मैंने ग्लिम्स तो किया, है ना? एनकरेजमेंट मिलता है, अच्छा लगता है.
So I think that sometimes when and yeah, when you feel that there's nothing else to hold on to, and then you say that, okay, this is what this is what you're seeking, then yeah, and if it comes in some form of expression, or whichever, that whether it is yeah, it's mostly physical that you would probably this thing. So that's when, like you said, yeah, maybe that encouragement, oh, then it again becomes a part of the ego, right? Again,
Exactly. That's
so
what rightly said. what happens is that the moment something beautiful happens, all these things are very intangible. You can't grasp at it कि ये continue हो जाए experience. अगर वो 2 मिनट का है तो वो 2 मिनट के बाद it will disappear. Now what happens is the ego comes back and it kind of claims it. It says कि oh, this was very beautiful, let me have it again. This is the ego, this is the grasping. वो जो हम starting में psychic prana की बात कर रहे थे ना, this is the grasping. कि अब what do I want to do? I want to repeat it. So we think that things have changed, but actually nothing has changed. I was addicted in samsara, now I am addicted to spiritual experiences. What has changed? Nothing. So the basic idea is to kind of let go, and when experiences come, experience, enjoy. When they go away, then also knowing that we are actually bathing in the lap of divine. And even when mother says that even when you can't feel the presence of mother is with you. So telling ourselves that even when I don't have that repetition of that beautiful experience that I had, no matter how much I want to have it again, I know that I'm bathing, I'm in the lap of the divine. I may not feel it, because feeling is again based on my senses, है ना? तो आई मे नॉट फील इट. और आप देखो ना कि हम इतनी सारी चीजें हमारे आसपास, मेरे आगे 2 भूत हो, है ना, मेरे को नहीं फील हो रहे, बट वो हैं क्योंकि मेरी सेंसेस नहीं बता सकती कि वो भूत है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल. तो इट डजंट मीन दैट इफ आई कांट फील एनीथिंग, इट इज नॉट देयर, बिकॉज आवर सेंसेस आर वेरी लिमिटेड, है ना. सो राइट नाउ से महाअवतार बाबा जी भी एक्चुअली प्रेजेंट, बट आई कांट फील हिम बिकॉज आई हैव लिमिटेड सेंस परसेप्शन. तो इसका मतलब ये थोड़ी ना कि वो प्रेजेंट नहीं है. जैसे ही नाम लिया, हो सकता है आए हो, हेलो करके चले गए हो, बट मेरी सेंसेस ही प्रेजेंट नहीं है उस सेंस में. So yeah, so knowing that our sense perceptions or feelings or emotions, they are very limited, and this is the instrument that has been given to me, which is a very limited instrument. Even when I'm not feeling it, having the certitude that we are bathing in it all the time. Yeah. Because that can make us even more restless, craving for experience.
Yeah. Right. So one of the just to understand this again, so probably one of the examples would be someone like Kabir, right? I mean, he uh, like whatever he does or whatever he sings or whatever he says, it's in the name of the Lord or the divine, but yet he continues to do whatever, and there's a constant, he knows that it's there. So would that be going beyond the limited senses that like we probably have?
I think why
He would
not?
be
Yes, yeah.
one of the examples, just to
देखो वही है, मतलब यहाँ पे ना हम बहुत, वी आर लाइक फेलियर्स हियर, बिकॉज
yeah.
है ना, मतलब हमारे पास वो सेंस नहीं है इतना जान
Hmm.
पाने की. और काफी बार ये देखा गया है कि मास्टर्स और मिस्टिक्स हैव अपीयर्ड इन सच अ शैबी फॉर्म, लाइक यू कांट टेल दैट ही इज अ मास्टर. तो अब
Right.
क्या मतलब, ये हमारा इंस्ट्रूमेंट ही इतना लिमिटेड है, हमारी इग्नोरेंस इतनी ज्यादा है कि कैसे आप डिफाइन करोगे और कैसे आप परसीव करोगे कि ये सही है, ये लव है, ये लव नहीं है. तो जस्ट लेटिंग अस आवरसेल्व्स नो दैट दिस लॉजिकल एनालिटिकल माइंड एटलीस्ट इसके बस का नहीं है, बिकॉज वी ऑलवेज सी विद अवर कर्टन्स. नाउ हाउ एम आई श्योर दैट माई कर्टन इज नॉट डिस्टॉर्टेड? आई एम नॉट श्योर. But I will be sure again if there is an aspiration, like it seems like there is an aspiration, so then we can always say that I don't know right now, but I know in time I will be shown, things will revealed to me, it will be shown to me that what is true love, what is pure love, and what is the outer expression, like mother is aspiring that in time it will be revealed to me. So that aspiration can be there, that right now I don't know, but I know that in time it will be, when I'm ready, it will be revealed to me. But this thing about Kabir, why not? I mean, Kabir ji has also many couplets on love, you know. Aghat prem pinjar base. He says boundless love lies in this very body. You have to find that out, he says. Yeah, it's a mystery. If it was so easily solved, why would so many people, masters, mystics, they'll have to come again and again to talk about it. So,
Mm. Yeah. That's the big
yeah.
question.
Yeah, anything else here? Anyone? If not anything, I think maybe enough for us to chew upon and contemplate upon, especially whenever we are acting out in terms of our behavior that we claim as love, asking ourselves, questioning that this doesn't appear like love. We call all our insecurities and all our jealousies, especially jealousy is a very big part of normal human love, that if you love somebody, then you can be jealous of other people who are maybe coming close to that person. So, but that is not at all. And this is all our insecurities and trying to have fulfillment through the other person, which is like actually a torture on the other person that we claim to call, as love. So we have to really question our kind of behavior, and whenever we are doing that, there is a certain unease. We can sense it that something is not right, if only we can be present to that unease. So not calling attachment as love, but knowing that attachment is actually like a poison in where true love can be. It acts like a poison, it spoils it. But it's not very easy to let go of attachments. Kabir ji has said, मोह सलिल की धार में बह गए गंभीर, सूक्ष्म मछली सुरती है चलती उड़ता उल्टा नीर. So he says that in this kind of a wave of attachment, गंभीर, sincere, scholarly pundits also, they are swept away. अगर कहीं पे मोह है तो. Many good stories we have in Indian scriptures of this kind of an attachment. Even a sadhu or a sage can have that kind of an attachment. So he says, मोह सलिल की धार में बह गए गंभीर, सूक्ष्म मछली सुरती है. Awareness is like the subtle fish which can actually go in the reverse direction. It will not be swept away. So when we are aware of what are the happenings within our being, and not instead of getting swept away, which we have done enough, we can step back and restrain those outgoing energies into ourselves rather than putting it on a person or a situation. So सूक्ष्म मछली सुरती है चढ़ती उल्टा नीर. सो सलिल की धार तो ऐसी हो गई कि आपको लेके चली गई, और उल्टा नीर की इमेजिन करो कि एक वाटरफॉल है, उसमें ऊपर की तरफ कोई मछली जा रही है. इट्स क्वाइट चैलेंज. द मछली हैज टू बी वेरी फाइन. सो ही सेज सूक्ष्म मछली सुरती है चढ़ती उल्टा नीर. Now it will not get swept away when we are aware, when we are conscious, and we are trying to work upon ourselves, because we have done that enough. We have tasted its misery enough. तो अब जब वो बहाव आएगा, आप there is a high chance that you can step back in consciousness, in awareness, knowing that it is not doing any good whatsoever. It takes time. It's a long process, because the older neural connections have to dislodge and the new ones have to form. Because of the older patterns, older neural connections, it is easily to be swept away. It's very easy and effortless to be swept away. But if I'm trying to step back and do something new, it actually takes a lot of courage, and that is why love is equivalent to courage. Lots of courage is required. Emotional heart may be breaking apart, and yet you are not leaving that courage. So emotional heart can break apart. It's not a big thing. It can break, because only when it breaks we get a taste of psychic, but it pains, of course. There is a pain associated with that. So mother says endure, सह लो, जैसे हम लेबर पेन सह लेते हैं वैसे ये भी सह लो अच्छे काम के लिए सह लो. हाँ जी, any last comments before we end?
Yes, so Monica, you mentioned about Babaji, and there's also a picture of him behind you. So just tell us a little bit about him, maybe 2-3 minutes.
What do I tell? So I think my connection, of course, I can't tell, however, material too much may be available on Mahavatar Babaji, but it is said that he is a sage who is more than, say, 3000 years old, and he has decided to not leave the physical body. And the quality with him is that he can take any form, and he can actually appear to you like a dog, he can appear to you like a young adult, 16-17-year-old, or his own form, whatever that is, I don't know. He can take any form, so he has those powers and siddhis, and he is there until the whole chakra of this particular yuga is going to be there, so he's not going to leave us suffering like that. And he was also the initiator of kriya yoga, which is this breath work that is there. And we have in the lineage, we have Lahari Mahashay, then we have Yukteswar Giri, then we have Paramhans Yogananda. So all these are in the same lineage. And then I think, I am not sure, but I think Sri M is also in that lineage.
Who?
Yeah, Sri M.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so people who are associated with this breath work, they kind of take blessings from him, because when you are doing breath work, it's very difficult. It's very if you try to, like we did in one meditation, we tried to do that conscious connected breathing, right? If you are lying down and trying to do this repeated conscious connected breathing, you will see that you have to push yourself, because after 2 minutes you would say thak gayi, और नहीं करा जा रहा. So you have to push yourself. It takes a lot of effort. So people take blessings from Mahavatar Babaji so that they can continue this discipline, because it leads to a certain state of coming back home. Because in there, what I relate with it is that imagine करो कि आप फुटबॉल के एक गोल पोस्ट से दूसरे गोल पोस्ट पे जा रहे हो. So you are staying with the breath. Breath is like a football that you are keeping with yourself. लेफ्ट और राइट से आपको बहुत सारे थॉट्स एंड फीलिंग्स आ रहे हैं. बीच बीच में क्या होता है, व्हेन वी आर डूइंग दिस ब्रेथ वर्क, आपकी सांस टूटने लग जाती है, इन द सेंस नाउ यू आर नॉट फोकस्ड एनी मोर ऑन द कॉन्शियस कनेक्टेड ब्रीदिंग. अगेन यू आर थिंकिंग अबाउट दोज थिंग्स व्हिच आर कमिंग टू यू. तो आपको क्या करना है, यू हैव टू बी सो डिसिप्लिन्ड इन योर एफर्ट, बिकॉज यू हैव सीन दैट ऑल दिस इज रबिश. These thoughts and feelings that are coming to me, they have not given me anything. I don't want to remain engaged there. है ना? तो एक बार आपने वो तय कर लिया, then you continue this discipline of say 15 minutes of conscious connected breathing. It is mostly done lying down. The spine has to be straight. So you have inhale, deep inhale and long inhale, and then you have exhale and continuing inhale, inhale without any breaks. Can be deep and slow. And then you have a feeling of coming back home, like finding contentment in yourself, which all of us kind of want. So it is one of those yogas, है ना, kriya yoga जिसे कहते हैं. So not this much is not only kriya yoga. Kriya yoga must be much more. But my connection is with this kind of work, breath work that we call, which for me has been very helpful, because it brings us back home when we get lost in our attachments and aversions and all the stories of life. It kind of brings us back home. So there is how I connect. So in that sense, one can gain strength from him when we call him or remember him. Yeah, one can gain strength so that we can continue the sadhana. But you can read more about Mahavatar Babaji. There are many YouTube links.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so shall we end here? Okay, so before we end, let's share and dedicate our merit, individual and collective, whatever merit we may have, sharing it with all the sentient beings near and far. May we all be truly well, truly happy. May all the suffering and the causes of suffering be taken away from all of us. May we have true happiness and the causes of true happiness. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.